Good day, everyone, wherever this finds you today, and welcome to the LifeRay Digital Insider Africa chat. My name is Joe Goshi, and I am the General Manager for LifeRay in Africa, based in Casablanca, Morocco. And I am so excited to welcome Nicolas Bry as speaker for today's coffee chat. As you might have already heard, Nicolas works for Orange, and he'll be sharing his experience around business innovation on the African continent with us today. You know, innovation is something that we Africans know a lot about, and we continue to benefit from this in our own special way. And so I'm so excited to have Nicolas with us here today. Once more, good morning and welcome, Nicolas. So what is the driving motivation behind our session today, you might ask? You've heard this word over and over again already. It is innovation. With the continued challenges around being able to meet in person, we at LifeRay have sought to find innovative ways to stay connected with you, our customers, and our partners. It is with this in mind that over the last couple of months, we've put together these LifeRay Digital Insider Coffee Chats for Africa, which some of you have attended. The Digital Insider Coffee Chat series is a series of about 30-minute long conversations, which are designed to inspire and educate you and your team members on topics like digitalization, innovation, and technology. Now, at this point, I know some of you joining today don't know much about LifeRay. So in a quick synopsis, who is LifeRay? LifeRay is the open source leader focused on providing enterprises with solutions to create intelligent, customized digital experiences, primarily via self-service portals and commerce solutions. We do this with the help of many partners like Orange, which Nicolas works for, and Orange Business Services. And we are driven to serve over 1,400 global customers by our vision at LifeRay, which says, by building a vibrant business, making technology useful, and investing in communities, we make it possible for people to reach their full potential to serve others. This is our heartbeat at LifeRay. This is what drives us. And we accomplish this on the back of 4 major building products or building blocks, as we might say. The core of our offering is the LifeRay Digital Experience Platform, which comes out of a history of being a portal and that allows our customers to build websites, experiences, and portals. This is coupled with our commerce offering, LifeRay Commerce, which allows our customers to then sell their products to their customers. And as relationships evolve, we've put in place a SaaS offering, which is known as LifeRay Analytics Cloud, that allows you, our customers, and our partners to better understand your customers and as the relationship evolves. And then LifeRay, being a flexible platform, allows our customers to deploy wherever they want, whether on-premise or in the cloud. And so the 4th building block that we provide is called LifeRay DXP Cloud, which is our platform as a service offering. These are the different offerings that we provide to our customers to enable them innovate and serve their customers better. Well, that aside, the main person we are excited to hear from today is Nicolas. And so Nicolas is an international innovation executive. He's a true expert in corporate innovation programs and innovation labs. Nicolas currently helps over 20 innovation managers of Orange Africa to develop their projects locally. Previously, he has created several open innovation programs like Innovation with Employees, which was called Orange Entrepreneurs Studio, Innovation with Consumers called Imagine with Orange, and then another one, Innovation with Entrepreneurs, known as Orange African Toolbox. Consolidating this experience with ones of over 40 corporations, in 2019, Nicolas wrote a book called The Entrepreneur's Factory, a practical guide to leverage entrepreneurship for your company. Nicolas is a passionate TEDx speaker, as I'm sure you will see today. He's a master classes lecturer at Google Academy and Tech Business Schools, and an ISPIM Prize Laureate for Innovation Management in 2016. All of this to say, Nicolas loves and breathes innovation. So without much further ado, Nicolas, thank you very much for joining us today on this Digital Insider Chats and for sharing your experience with us today. I personally am very excited to hearing from you, as I'm sure the rest of us are. So thank you, Nicolas. Over to you.
Thank you very much. Thank you for this great introduction, and also for Very happy to participate to this LifeRay innovation and digital transformation chat. I hope that we will have a question so that it can really be a chat and not a single presentation on my side. So you mentioned already where I come from, what I do. You see the picture below on the right. I'm handling the book, The Entrepreneur Factory, which consolidates the experience of 40 companies on empowering employees in an entrepreneurship program. But the main topic of my presentation today will be more about more general innovation organization, how to design this on an innovation organization within your company, within your corporation or within a startup, and let them scale. So the title of the presentation is Scaling Up your innovation organization. So I will go to the agenda. Just a quick second. It will be focused on three main points. I will give some context about innovation today. I called it innovation at the speed of light. Then I will go through three concrete innovation initiatives I have participated in at Orange. One on open innovation, the other one on entrepreneurship and empowering employees, and the third one about local innovation, which is a program I handle currently with Orange in Africa. And based on these three learnings and a few other lessons, I will suggest a framework design to design the right innovation for your organization. And it's called Innovation Organization and Culture. So a bit of context about the acceleration of innovation nowadays. Innovation has accelerated, and it leads to a culture swipe acceleration as well. What are some of the pillars of this culture swipe? The first one is, again, about the speed. Delivering innovation fast is not only an expectation to remain competitive and to satisfy your customers, it's a way also to better design innovation. Why? At Google, they say the better, the faster. Or the well-known designer Mies van der Rohe say less is more. Designing fast helps you to eliminate what is not the core value proposition of your innovation, or what is not essential. So it helps you to concentrate also on what is essential to have short timelines. The second element of the culture swipe is innovation is really no more about an invention. There are many technological evolution that facilitate innovation ventures. Innovation is really about finding and focusing on the user problem. And once you have identified this user problem, you can unfold the value that you create for the customer by solving the problem and align this value with the value for the business. So it's really the synchronicity between value created for customer and for your business that makes the innovation successful on the market. Third item on the culture is innovation is not ideation. It's not only about post-it creation. Innovation is like marketing, is like sales. It's a department that contributes truly to the turnover, to the revenues on the companies, helping to acquire new customers or helping to increase the loyalty of the current customers. Creating new markets, differentiating from the competition. Show me the money is what about is innovation at the end. And last, element of the culture, it's the rising up of open cooperating innovation. Innovation is no more a standalone activity. It's by connecting with other companies, connecting with startups, connecting with universities, and building together new and creative solutions that you will accelerate and enrich your innovation. So three innovation and initiative I would like to spot on, and three learnings I've kept from these initiatives. The first one is about open innovation. So we like to say innovation is like a parachute. It's better when it's open. There are different devices that correspond to open innovation. Just a few of them on this visual: learning expedition, sharing ideas on an ID box through crowd innovation. And Orange has developed a platform which is called Imagine with Orange, which invites internet users to share their ideas about what kind of innovation Orange should develop. One step more concrete into innovation is hackathon or a solution platform where you really look for a specific solution to a problem that you have identified within your company. Or you also, on this platform, can expose your resources through the means of API, and that's what Orange does with the Orange Developers Platform. Corporate acceleration, it can be cooperating with startups through a specific acceleration program. Orange has a network of more than 15 Orange Fab all over the world to welcome startups to collaborate together. And the Entrepreneur Studio that was previously mentioned, which is a program to empower Orange employees to develop their own ideas if they are selected. And last, capital investment. So Orange has a specific arm, which is the Orange Ventures, investing in startups in Europe and in Africa. So there's different devices help Orange and corporation collaborate with different kind of partner. It can be internet users, your customers, it can be technological specialists or experts through the solution platform. It can be startup through the corporate accelerator or the capital investment. The lesson I've learned through this different kind of cooperation is that it's a true commitment that works when we define the goal that we share. And so what Orange goals are, what the startup or the partners goals are, and if the intersection between the two kind of goals, because these goals are at the beginning different, if the intersection is tangible enough, then we can make open innovation work. I've seen many collaborations starting without defining this goal, and sometimes it goes to the wall. So you have to define these shared goals, and this way it will facilitate the sharing of knowledge, what I call explicit knowledge, because at the end of the day, open innovation is about sharing knowledge. And we all know that sharing knowledge with other companies, with other startups, is not very natural because of the competition, of the confidentiality of different information. So explicit knowledge can nurture, can blossom on top of the fact that we have explicit shared goals. First lesson. Second lesson is about the program I have created at Orange, the entrepreneurship program, empowering employees on innovation. So as it was mentioned, I have written a book about the way to design this kind of program. And it goes through 10 steps. I will go very quickly through this 10th step that can be also incorporated to design the right innovation program. So the first step is that you have to design what we call the reason why or the purpose, and ensure that it is aligned with the strategy of the corporation. You have to define the value proposition for the participant to the program, whether it's employees or whether it's external participants like internet users or startup. Get some sponsorship at high level on your program. Define the process which you will use to identify those ideas, select them, incubate them, bring them to the market. In case it's entrepreneurship, employees will spend some of their time on the innovation project that they want to put forward. So you have to define their status. Get the business commitment very upstream on these innovation ideas if you want the business unit to be further willing to help on marketing and commercializing the innovation idea. Defining the exit for this innovation project and the way it will scale up. Incorporating the culture dimension into your program. Define how your program fits into the current innovation ecosystem. And at last, define a few value creation metrics that you will use to monitor the success of the program. My advice on this is to define the metrics before you start the program. Many programs define the metrics at the first steering committee when the program is already started. In my experience, it's better to go and see your stakeholders, share the metrics with them that will correspond to the success of the program. In the book, you will find also, to give some flesh, 20 entrepreneur stories that explain how they have conducted their innovation in their companies, and what they have learned from this experience on the personal side, and what kind of business they have created. The Entrepreneur Factory. The lesson learned on this is really about crossing this bottom-up initiative about innovation with top-down support. And I call it involving upstream, both sponsor and business unit, to secure the further achievement of the innovation along the way. If you involve them too late in the process, the commitment will be difficult to reach because they will fail a little bit aside from the initial start of this innovation program. And so it's really important to inform them, to onboard them from the very beginning. Third element on this innovation way, it's about the local innovation program that we develop in Africa. What the idea behind local innovation is very simple. In complement to quite central innovation design, we want to boost innovation that starts from the from the countries where we operate, around 20 in Africa. Starting by the countries where we operate, we mean sticking to local specificities, to local expectation, and executing more quickly to meet the customer expectation. So what are the tools that are incorporated into this local innovation program? The collaboration with the innovation ecosystem, so open innovation basically. Leveraging ideas from the business unit and from the employees. That's I've mentioned it previously with the entrepreneurship program. Adopting the lean innovation process. So what we call lean innovation is having a focus on the user, solving a problem user, as I mentioned, testing, learning, and iterating in short cycles. So based on the lean startup and agile approaches, and building grassroots innovation that will make an impact on people's lives. Last element, if it's possible, trying to articulate this local innovation with the global platform we have developed and which are at the disposal of the countries to accelerate the go-to-market for this innovation. So I've mentioned it, the very much focus on local innovation is on building innovation that makes an impact, that transforms the way people live. A good example of this is the mobile money we have developed. It's an Orange Money, it's called Orange Money. So it's really solve a user problem for the people who don't have access to a bank account in Africa, because it lets them transfer money, pay in the shops, pay online with the Orange Money service, without having a bank account and without relying on cash. What is interesting in this Orange Money is really the impact it makes on people's life. It's now live in 18 countries and it has reached 50 million users. But it's interesting also to see that the idea did not come from Orange. The idea of the mobile money was born in Kenya and put in place by the local operator Safaricom. But Orange Money get the knowledge of this context, of this local specificity, and some countries decided to build a global platform that could facilitate the rollout of the Orange Money, the scale of Orange Money service over all the countries of the region. That was the idea from the start, to build a platform that could have a global span. And then they incorporated a few enrichment on this service. So you can pay your bills with Orange Money. You can exchange money between some countries in Africa. You can send money internationally also as well. And so it's interesting to see that you can be successful in innovation with an idea which is not yours, with a technology which is not high-level technologies based on SMS. It's here from the beginning of the mobile technology. It's not artificial intelligence or that kind of new technology. But because it solves a real problem with the users, then it can meet the market successfully. Another example of this transformational innovation is the smartphone that we have recently launched with Google, and that helps to bridge the digital divide. The digital connection is not only about getting 4G or 3G or fiber access, broadband access. It's also about having the right device to browse on the internet. And with this low-cost smartphone, it's below $30. We hope that many users will have a facilitated access to the internet. So the program that we have developed in Africa called Local Innovation is also based on a specifically designed process. In this process, we are focusing on two main steps. First one is the exploration. On this step, we collect the ideas from the business unit and from the employees and sometimes from startup, and we assess those ideas through tools which are called the business model canvas, and we materialize these ideas visually with mockup. Then the second step is the experiment. We go to the customer, as they say in the Silicon Valley, we go out of the building to test the value proposition with the users. Please note that at this stage, we don't have any product. We just have a mock-up. We just have an explanation of what we want to deliver, a visual of what we want to deliver to the user. But at this stage, it's enough to get the feedback, to get the insight, and to iterate if necessary, if the feedback are not exactly what we had in mind. Then we go to the third step, which is exploitation. And at this level, the innovation project get a buy-in, get a go for development. And the development will be handled by the business unit, which has been, as you remember, involved from the very beginning to the development of the innovation and ID. So at this stage, the innovation team hands over the innovation project to the business unit that will be in charge of delivery. Last step, if the project is a success, we look for regional replication and we put forward the success of the different countries so that other countries can pick up the ideas, the project, and implement it in their own countries. So in this process, you see that we are focused on what we call short experiment. It's not a proof of concept. It's not even a MVP or a friendly user test or beta test or so on. It's really about going to the customer and testing the value proposition. We focused on this because we believe that we can monitor this process twice a year, 5 innovation each time. It's 10 innovation per countries. And as there are 20 countries in the region, that would mean experimenting 200 solutions per year. Not all of them will have a go to market, will have a go to development, but at least we will be experimenting these 200 solutions per year. That will really nurture an innovation portfolio interesting for the customers. We focus the innovation teams on this rather than being involved 100% on one single project, from ideation to the development of the project, to the go-to-market, to the end of the development of the project. So the lesson learned in this program is when you design the innovation program, not all the people have the same level of understanding of what is innovation, so you have to build your innovation identity. What you want to achieve, what is your purpose, what it brings to the company. In this case, we have built our innovation identity on bold and numerous experiments rather than exploitation or development of innovation projects. So we have different local innovation achievements. I would like to speak of 2 of them on this. The Orange Mali project on the left side is about delivering an Orange Money API to e-merchant. This API lets them split the money that they get from Orange Money through their customers with their different partners automatically. So it facilitates a lot the work of e-merchants when they have different partners. Just like, for example, we have an e-merchant that works on betting online, and it has to split the revenues between a high number of partners. With this Orange Money API, it's all done automatically. Another example of local innovation is Orange Cameroon at the bottom right. It's about letting the Orange Cameroon users subscribe and manage a subscription on mobile telephony, fully digital. Everyone can understand that in the pandemic situation, the visits in the Orange Money, in the Orange boutique are not so relevant. So Orange Cameroon has let all the users manage their bundles, duration of their subscription fully online through their mobile. Other examples, there are many examples linked to Orange Money because it's such a great accelerator of innovation. In Ivory Coast, they have developed a way to locate the merchant in the city of Abidjan, which accept the Orange Money payment, so that people can select this kind of merchant, and they have partnered on this with a startup called GeoShop. In Burkina Faso, they have developed with Orange Money the way for students to buy their meal tickets through the Orange Money service, so they don't have to handle paper tickets anymore. So again, in time of pandemic, it's quite relevant. And it lets also the manager of the university restaurants automatically monitor his business without having to input paper ticket in his IT system. Last example is from Orange Tunisia, which lets the gamers buy some badges or grades in their games using Orange bills, Orange carrier billing system, without having to pay with their Visa card or with their credit cards. So I try to with this different local innovation, each time to share what kind of user problem is solved with this innovation, to circle back with the transformation innovation that we're looking for. And now I will conclude my presentation with the third part, which is about designing the innovation organization, and how I've tried to incorporate the 3 lessons in the design of organization. First of all, in my experience, innovation organization doesn't thrive without innovation culture. To illustrate, for me, innovation organization is like building a factory. An innovation culture is bringing the raw materials that you need in the factory to deliver goods. So innovation organization without culture is like a factory without the initial raw materials. Reversely, innovation culture without organization will let you put forward a few innovation projects, but it will not be able to scale up. For this, you need the right process, the right organization. So a few suggestions to deliver the right organization. Incorporate the test and learn process that you have mentioned during the lesson number 3 with the Orange Africa program. Test and learn, go to customer confrontation along the process as fast as you can, so you can build, test, learn, and iterate and improve in short cycle your innovation. Second lesson learned, I've mentioned it in the first program, Open Innovation Program. Design product that facilitate collaboration with external partners, sharing goal and explicit knowledge. And for this, in the digital world, we use API, these modular connectors that accelerate a lot innovation and that let other people create value on top of your innovation. And scaling up, in the case of Orange Africa, we've chosen to hand over to the business unit in charge of the scale up of the innovation. But this is definitely something that you have to explicit in your innovation organization, how you will move from a first product market fit to a scale up of your innovation. Then 3 pillars to nurture your innovation culture: empowering employees and business unit to go forward to innovation, but with what I call creative tension. So encourage, support innovation initiative, but give them some framework, some timeline framework. I've spoken about this in the case of the acceleration of innovation, the better, the faster. Second, that's the experience number 2 from the entrepreneurship initiative. Get some upstream aspiration across the top-down initiative with the bottom-up support. Cross the bottom-up initiative with the top-down support. That's the way you will get alignment and the support from the business unit and sponsor along the way. And last, innovation is about risk taking culture. So incorporate boldness into your innovation culture. Let people understand that failure can happen when you initiate innovation, and that it's not a problem for the company. It's better to fail at the beginning of the innovation than to fail at the end of the innovation once you have developed and committed a lot on product development. This way, you can become a learning organization that learn from the setback and from the different innovation conducted. So I will close the innovation just to put forward a short tool I have developed to let you test your innovation. Your innovation is in a review, is a short assessment that you can find online. And you have to answer a few questions across 10 key areas. And at the end, it will give you this kind of chart when it rates where you are in terms of innovation organization and the resilience of this innovation organization. And corresponding to this chart, you will find a few advice to help you improve your rating on the different key areas. So now I will close this presentation. Thank you very much. You can find more about open innovation, entrepreneurship, innovation in Africa, and so on my blog, rapidinnovation.fr, which is in English. You can also, don't hesitate to connect with me on LinkedIn. I will be happy to further discuss about your innovation initiative and innovation issues and share my experience if it's possible.
Nicolas, thank you so much. Truly, this has been for me personally, and I'm sure for the group, a masterclass on innovation. I think one of the things that jumped out to me, and I was jotting down this note, is the statement that you made of innovation is like a parachute. It is better when it is open. And I think from that I saw, the heart of it is collaboration is very critical for innovation, and it's both the bottom up and the top down happening at the same time. But getting the top down buy-in from the very beginning is going to be very critical for those within companies who are trying to be innovators. And so truly, you have done us a great service in talking through this masterclass on innovation. Well, we are getting close, short on time. We do have a couple questions, Nicolas, that I would like to pose for you, and maybe you can help us walk through these questions. For those who are listening, if you have questions, more questions, you can type them into the question chat window on the right side of your screen, and we'll try to take them up. If we can't answer them now, we'll be sure to answer them in the future. So, Nicolas, first question: in your experience in Africa, what are one or two of the unique challenges to innovation faced by innovators, and how have you seen them overcome?
I would say that the first challenge for innovator, not only in Africa but everywhere in the world, is the innovators who falls in love with his innovation. So as they say in the Silicon Valley, Ash Maurya says, he wrote a great book about innovation. Don't fall in love with your product, fall in love with the user problem. So what is important is not your product, is how you solve the user problem. Then I would say regarding Africa, in a way, there are some similarities with the difficulties to scale up for African startup, like we have with European startup. When you start something in the US, for example, in the Silicon Valley, when it works in San Francisco, then it can work in California, then it can work in the US. You don't have to change anything. It's the same culture. There are some differences, but it's the same language, it's the same money, and so on. When a startup gets a success in Nigeria or in Kenya, and they want to extend to West Africa, it's a change of culture, it's a change of language. There are the currency barriers, there are the taxes, and so on. And so it's really, I would say, more difficult for African startups to scale, but it's not impossible. And my advice on this is sometimes you want to pick up a country which seems to you attractive because it's a huge country, many people, a large population, and so on. My advice would be to start going international with a country which shows a similar market to your country, to your own country where you have made success. Because this way you can test how you can repeat your successful business model in a similar context.
Nicolas, I love how you started that. I think what I picked up from that answer, and hopefully this answers the question, is don't fall in love with with your innovation. Figure out the problem, figure out the context, and the African context. You can't just copy and paste and expect it to work across the continent. There are specific challenges which you have seen and which I think you have clearly highlighted. And we have seen many companies innovate really well that have spread across the continent. But I think this is a mindset that they have kept in mind. So yeah, that's super helpful. Okay, another question here for you, Nicolas, is, we've been talking about this term intrapreneurship, so innovating within the context of a company. Of all and there are many elements that must be in place for intrapreneurship to happen, for employees to innovate within their companies. So this question is, of all the elements that must be in place for employees to innovate and for those innovations to be viable long term, what would you list as maybe the top 2 or 3 non-negotiable elements that must be in place for intrapreneurship to really work within a company?
Yeah, it really comes to with the message of the key message of my presentation, that is to say, organization thrives with culture. And in the case of entrepreneurship, you can define the right process to select the ideas of the employees, to incubate these ideas, and following the lean startup process, as we have mentioned. This process won't work if you don't have an aligned innovation culture within the company. And the two key signals to show that you have an innovation culture is a sponsorship at high level of the program. If the CEO is not interested in innovation, you won't go anywhere, basically. So either you have to change the CEO, or either you have to show him how innovation can bring some tangible results for him. So that's the way you have to shape your innovation program, to build an identity that convince the CEO that innovation is worthwhile. And the innovation culture, the other innovation culture positive signal is when the business unit start to participate to the program, start sharing ideas, start committing employees to the program, because they will see a payback by participating in this program. With this signal, the commitment of the sponsor and the commitment of the business unit, I think that's the way to have a positive entrepreneurship program.
That's so helpful, Nicolas. I think that, and it's once more tied to collaboration again, making sure you're collaborating with the deciders, showing them value for your products, and so that you can get that buy-in. It's so critical for innovators. Well, Nicolas, our time is definitely coming to an end. One more question that we have for you. I know you enjoy writing. Nicola. So with that in mind, I'm sure you have a book idea in mind. So what will your next book be about, Nicola?
Well, the next book leverage on the entrepreneur factory, which was well received. And my focus, the title should be The Innovators Factory. So what I mean by that is it's a broader span than entrepreneurship. It's about designing the right innovation organization, mixing it with the innovation culture. That will be the core message of the book. I will also suggest 10 steps to reach this right innovation organization. And I call it the Innovators Factory, because at the end of the day, I believe that you have the right innovation process when you manage to create or to unfold or to unearth innovators within the company. That's the people who will make the innovation successful in the company.
Wow. Nicola, looking forward to getting that book, to you actually sitting down, writing it, and actually seeing it in the market. But once again, thank you very much for spending time with us today, Nicola. It has truly been a joy.